right there. All right, welcome to our centering moment for today. All right, in 2 Samuel chapter 23, we see, first of all, notice reflection. We find what is called the last words of David. In other words, David is reflecting on the results of his life. As you may recall, David built what is called the kingdom of Judah, and it existed among, as you see here on the map, the other kingdoms in terms of the kingdom of Edom, Moab, the Philistines, Ammonites. David is reflecting on the results of his life. And he's also recalling the wars he has won, the wars he lost, the wars he should have lost, and the wars he should have won. And here in chapter 23, he's reflecting upon one of the wars he should have lost. Notice not only the reflection going on, but the return as David's mind goes back. First of all, he thinks about the retreat. He is in the heat of the battle. He's facing the Philistines, and something strange happens in the text. His men forsake him. When the Philistines poke fun at David's men at Pas Damian, that place there, it says Israel retreats. David's men leave him, standing there by himself. But not only is there the retreat, but also notice the reflex. All leave him except for one. It says, but Eleazar stood his ground and killed Philistines right and left until he was exhausted. And here's the key point in which David says, but he never let go of his sword. Never let go of his sword. We see the retreat, the reflex, and the reasons, which bring us to our centering question in terms of Eleazar. Why he never let go of his sword? It's just David and Eleazar against the Philistines, and he killed Philistines right and left until he was exhausted, but he never let go of his sword. And here I'm again, this is where I struggle. Not only why did he never let go of his sword, but also why is David still fighting the Philistines? You remember, he started fighting the Philistines in his childhood, in his past. Remember, Goliath was a Philistine, and David took a brick, a rock, and knocked the spiritual hell out of Goliath. And he's been fighting Philistines ever since. Another place where I struggle in terms of theological crimes. Why did David's men retreat? What caused... There are two things that happen when faced with danger. There's fight or flight. They chose flight. What happened? And of course now there's always the question of is anything wrong with living to fight another day? I think in the book of Kenny Rogers it talks about you got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, know when to walk away. Eleazar, quick question. Why did Eleazar stay versus all of David's men leaving him? Why did he never let go of his sword, and he stayed at the time of danger? Who is this guy, Eleazar? All right, gotta go. All right. Well, thank God this is not how the story ends in terms of mystery. in terms of wondering about Eleazar, because there is some good news in the story. Notice here in this story, we not only see reflection, return, but we also see respect. One of the traits of leadership is based upon respect. First of all, respecting courage. Notice that for David, the Philistines, they are a reoccurring enemy. We're discovering that in life there are some enemies that will never go away, that we'll be fighting the demons from our childhood well into our elder years, because there's some enemies that will not go away. It takes courage to fight a recurring enemy, such as loneliness and frustration and worrying and crying and trouble. It will never go away. Jesus says, in this world you will have trials and tribulations, but be of good cheer. I've overcome the world. Job said, man or a person that is born of a woman is of a few days, but those few days are full of trouble. So if trouble isn't knocking on your door today, don't worry about it. I'm here to tell you, it's not going to be long before it shows up. Respecting courage. Not only is there the respecting of courage, another leadership trait we see here is the respectful commitment. David makes room for Eleazar. It's commitment is a two-way street. David says, I choose you, Eleazar, to be on the team. I need your gifts, skills, abilities, knowledge, your experience. I need you to bring the cohesiveness, be the glue, the missing piece that holds my team together. I need you. But also in terms of respectful commitment, notice David says, but now the time has come that I've got to let you help me. All right. I've got to let you help me. There are Eleazars in our life. The question oftentimes becomes, will we allow them to help us in the time of need? And David is respectful to the commitment in terms of bringing Eleazar onto the team, but also allowing Eleazar to do what Eleazar does when the time comes. And there's so many in our lives that many times we don't allow them to shine at the moment. It's hard sometimes for some to share the stage, to step back and say, okay, for this purpose, this season, this reason, you're in my life right now. Eleazar. Respecting courage, respecting commitment. And another final leadership trait is the respected conqueror. True, the cream will always rise to the top. Leadership knows that the best will always rise to the top in terms of Eleazar, in terms of justice, equality. These are characteristics that it appears Eleazar has found, that's innate, that's a part of him, perhaps even from his upbringing, being around those that where their word is their bond. And here Eleazar remains true to what he's been called to do. And in that moment, by remaining true to who he is and to whom he is, something supernatural occurs in the text. It says that that his hand merged with the sword. That's what some translations say. And that is to say that the sword, he never let go of his sword. As one of my colleagues mentioned in terms of being a military veteran, that upon receiving his weapon, upon entering the military, he was told that there should never be a separation between him and his weapon. And so if the sword represents the word of God, then notice here that for Eleazar, there was no separation between him and the word of God. And notice that not only did Eleazar have the sword, but we can truly say that the sword had Eleazar. All right. Gotta go. Thank you. All right. All right. Gotta go.